Now I'm going to go ahead and get the insulation and work on just stuffing the crap out of it into and I'm still not seeing any insulation I've been putting. I am also almost completely out. This was alright. I don't know what the hell I was looking at, but okay, it is Saturday. It is raining. It's been raining crazy like all night, and now this morning, according to the weather, it's supposed to stop at some point. I don't know, this morning or afternoon, whenever. So I'm going to try to get some work done, even though it's raining. Keep working on this pain in the ass ceiling. But I think to start with, since it is still raining, I'm going to start with, I'm going to get these into place up against the wall and start working on those hooks that I have. And then we'll see, hopefully the rain starts at least slowing down by then. That'll make it a little bit easier to, work on cutting wood to get up there and all that. But if not, then I might end up rigging something up, like putting the thing to cut wood in here and doing that. It'll make more of a mess with all the dust and everything, but at least I can still get work done. So that's game plan today. Okay, so here are the boards all up there. This one I have to have like upside down, so that's why it has that weird marking there, because of the angle that's created there. It won't fit at the bottom between that piece of wood and that, so the angled part is sticking up here. Whereas this side is fine because this is a bigger seat or whatever, so it fits. There's actually even a gap up there. So basically what I'm looking at here is I can't put any hooks over here yet because there's no wood here. Over here I could put hooks along this right here. I have to get over there and see. I'm hoping because of those pieces that stick out that keep the wood in there on the seat, maybe that'll leave me enough room to fit hooks along there, but I'm not sure yet. I might end up having to put the hooks along those parts that aren't covered yet, those metal parts going up there. And then I'm also going to basically I can see it right now basically, but how high up these go, so that way I know when I lift up this seat where that hook would have to be, one, to not, so this isn't covering that hook, or trying to put this wood up there and the hook is blocking it so it keeps falling down. And then that way I can lift this up and attach the hook there and have the seat stay up so I can get whatever I need to get out of there. Okay, so it looks like the hooks to attach this part when I want to hold it up, basically just anywhere on this larger piece. Same thing for the other side. So I'm just going to put it's just somewhere over in the corner here, both out of the way. The other pieces, the pieces to hold those up along the sides, I can't do anything with yet until I get the wood going along all the other edges. I mean, I could put the hooks over here, but there's kind of no point in me doing that because it's not going to be able to attach or anything then. So I'm just going to work on the one on each side here, and then I'll also try to figure out how I'm going to basically attach that hook when I want it to stay up there. There's no instructions whatsoever on here. The only thing it says is 1 1/4 inch, length. Doesn't say what size bit you should be used to drill that in. Doesn't really say how you're supposed to drill it in. So I'm just going to pre-drill and then just manually just keep turning it until it's all the way in there. There's really nothing on here. It just shows like the measurements of it, and then just goes over the warranty, which, why the hell do you need a warranty for like a $2 hook or whatever? I'm going to go ahead and just take out my bits and just look to see what size looks about the same, and make a hole on this wall and on the other one, and just try to spin it in there. Okay, so I got both of them on there. I ended up using a 7/64 bit, I believe it is. Yeah, 7/64. So I was thinking about the 1/8, which I've been using for almost everything. But it looked a little on the large side, so I decided to go with the 7/64, and it seems to work fine. So that's on there. Hopefully can support the weight of this thing. So yeah. Okay, so I had to take a sneeze break there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out what I'm gonna do as far as attaching something. I don't know if I want to put a hook on the bottom of this or whatever to hook it. Okay, another sneeze break. So I don't know if I want to put another hook on the bottom of this, and that way I can lift it up and just attach two hooks with something like maybe a short bungee or something. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just do some kind of tests and see what it looks like when I lift it up and all that fun stuff. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna put a hook on the bottom of this. This whole corner area is blocked by this 4x4, so I wouldn't be able to put it here, so I'd have to offset it. And then the issue over here is that, well, you have that 2x4 right here, and then underneath is the solar, the charge controller or whatever. So I don't know if that hook would end up smacking into it, and I would want it as close to the corner as I could get it so it lines up better with where that hook is. So I think I'm going to actually go ahead and try to find something that can attach to like right here, and then that way, you know, maybe it'll be like some kind of like a loop thing or something, and then I could always use it to, you know, grab that whatever kind of material it is to lift it as well, so that would make it easier, and then it would also double as then, you know, you can latch it onto the hook. Same thing for this side over here. So I'm not going to do anything with that right now because I don't have anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that on the list of things I need to look up online. And I'm going to go ahead and see how crazy the rain is outside and what my plans are as far as getting the wood cut for the next section over here. Okay, so I just did some measurements here. So unfortunately, from that mark up to just hitting this is like 49 inches, and the wood is 48 inches. So I'm going to end up having to connect it on the halfway point here. So we'll cover up these two sections here, and then I'll have to get another, I might have, I don't remember how many pieces I have to look at that. So I'm going to do, you know, the 3 pieces going across, and then if I have more wood, then I'll go ahead and work on this last section. For this last section, what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to connect here where the other wood leaves off, and I'm going to connect here, and then I'm going to keep the wood going probably up until like this mark, even though I won't be able to really connect it to anything over here, but I want to be able to cover up the screws that are hanging out from the solar stuff up top. I don't want, even though, you know, it's high enough where, you know, nobody's going to really bump their head into it or anything, I still just want to cover it up to make it look nicer. So just to connect that here, and then just overhanging, kind of like what's happening in the back, with that overhanging from the last, you know, one of these to the back wall. Alright, so that's the game plan. So I'm going to go ahead and measure again from that distance to the halfway point on there, and then it's going to be time to start trying to cut this wood and keep it dry and get it in here and insulate it and all that fun stuff. Okay, so it's going to be like 34 inches from that edge of that wood up to the halfway point on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting that cut. I'm going to go ahead and start on this side, so this way this area has the, like, you know, the full piece basically, and then another full piece, and then the smaller piece, just so it, you know, it's different throughout. You'll have, you know, it won't all just line up with the same crease marks or whatever you want to call them going throughout, kind of like how I did the staggering on this side. And also because I think this area is going to be a lot more visibility as opposed to over here, because that's going to have the cabinet stuff. The cabinets over here are only going to go up to, you know, probably like this point, and then this is all going to be, you know, open because there's a door here. You know, I'll be able to walk through it. And there's really not anything to attach it to here, so cabinets up here wouldn't really work out too well, I don't think, especially with my skills. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get one of those pieces out, do some, you know, tracing on there for the 34 inches, take it out there, and get some cutting done. Okay, so I can't remember if I filmed this in the last one, so I figured I'd show this. So I did all the cutting there and along the side to make sure that it's all you know, fits within that corner and everything lines up with that piece of wood and with the wall there. So the last thing to do is cut the other part of this off, so that way it'll just line up with that, you know, that first half of that beam there. So this one line going across here, this one, I initially measured the 34 inches before I did any cuts, and now that everything is fitting properly, I measured again. So you can see that side, it really didn't cut pretty much anything at that edge, so it lines up there. But because of how much I cut off here, it ends up making a different shape, or kind of swoops down there and then comes back up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut along that. And in theory, that should give me something that basically the whole thing is 34 inches all the way along, no matter what weird thing is going on with the wood. And then that should line up nicely with the halfway point on the metal beam to attach that to. So I'm going to make that cut, and then we should be good to go ahead and start putting some screws in there, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to get the insulation in here without it getting wet and start stuffing that up there. Okay, so here's that piece. So I have screws in at the corners and then also the middle points there. So I am going to end up adding more screws going down the like center of it. But first I want to go ahead and grab the insulation and start working on that. With stuffing it up in here around all these wires. This one, there's really nothing blocking it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just got to figure out how to get in here and keep it dry and then put it on up there. Okay, so one piece done here. So I'll fill it up with the insulation. I did put a screw in here and where the hell it is down there. I didn't add one in here just because it's going to be kind of tough to estimate where in this line it's supposed to be, and I have no way to see if there's, you know, holes in it or not. And at this point I feel like it's already pretty sturdy because it's got screws going all around it on the edges. So right now I'm going to leave it. I might end up adding another one. I just don't want to end up with another situation of having like 5 holes going all over the place and have to putty them all up. Yeah, so that one's done, so I'm going to go ahead and measure and cut the next one. This one I will have to go around this thingamajig, just like I did down there on that one. But otherwise, no fan or anything, so I'm happy about that. It's just other than the light, pretty straightforward. So I'm going to measure and cut and screw it up there and insulate it, all that stuff. Okay, so this one's all in with the insulation. Didn't really film a lot with it because it's just the same thing over and over. So there's that cutout. There's a bit more of a gap on this one than there was on the first one that I did over there. But I'll just end up filling that in, so that's okay. Yeah, so now comes the one that goes over there. I'm going to try to do a less terrible job than I did the first time with the end piece. Alright, so that piece is more or less up there. I left it here so I can try to get some insulation up in there and then finish putting in the screws, and then this section will be done. I'm going to do some measurements then. I think I'm going to need to buy one more piece of wood because I have 2 left and I've been using 3 each time to go across. So I'm going to do measurement. If I can maybe place them like sideways, so it'll be big enough to, you know, cover up the area that I want, then maybe I can get away with it. Just using those 2. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and get that insulation and then do that measurement. Okay, so it looks like I actually can just use those 2 pieces. If you look here, that's 2 feet, 24 inches, and that goes out to that point that I wanted to go to anyway. So I'm just going to use those 2, but right now I'm going to take a lunch break, and then I'll come back out here. As you can see, that one's all in there, insulated, all the screws in there, all good to go. Okay, so I am working on getting the last section done here. So basically this piece is going to go from here down to, I don't know, somewhere over here. And it's going to be covering basically from right here where I want it to be anyway. Just kind of naturally, that 2-foot length ends up covering from here over to this edge. So I'm just working on cutting out basically this section of where the wood is. As you can see down there, trying to get that curve. So that way the wood sits, you know, flat up against here. Because right now it's hitting over here, and then there's, you know, a gap over at this edge. So I'm just doing that, and then I know once I have that kind of all situated there, then I'm just gonna have to do cutouts around these bolts here, and then that's seems like it's gonna be pretty much it, because this is pretty straight along here, at least from the look of it. There's not like, you know, it's not like this one's longer, this one's shorter, so I can basically just put it up against here as long as these are cut out, and I can just get that one in there. It's gonna be a little bit more of a pain to get the insulation in there, because I'm gonna have to stuff the insulation going from, you know, wherever it ends over here, stuff it full all the way down here. But then doing the insulation on that last piece there should be pretty easy. It's not gonna take much at all. And then that's gonna be it for the ceiling. So I'll keep giving updates along the way as I get these pieces in place. Okay, so I just want to show this. So it's been cloudy and rainy on and off all day. And when I started out this morning, it said 80%, and now even with all that cloud, still managed to charge up. So look at it, 23 watts. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, so even in cloudy weather, still works really great. Anyway, still working on that piece of wood there. Okay, so this piece is almost all the way in. I am going to add a couple more screws to these spots that are hanging down there. This was a pain in the ass to get up here. It's just so big and awkward. But now I'm going to go ahead and get the insulation and work on just stuffing the crap out of it until it's all the way full from basically end to end. And then once I get that done, I'll go ahead and pop in probably like 4 more screws. Just because it's so, this board is so big, there's barely anything cut off of it as compared to the other ones that got the, you know, the ends trimmed to fit, you know, within the beams or whatever. So this one's really needs quite a bit of screws. I already have 6 of them in there, and it's still, as you can see, sagging down in spots. So I'm gonna get that insulation going and then throw in some more screws, and then we'll finish up with that last piece over there. Okay, so I took out the screws down here and loosened up the ones in the middle to look under here, and I'm still not seeing any insulation. I've been pushing and pushing like crazy. So I'm just gonna keep doing it until I actually see insulation coming down here, and then we can finish up this board finally. Okay, so I'm getting really close with it. I think it's probably up to like this mark. I'm also almost completely out. This was my last piece, and they don't sell individual pieces. I would have to buy a whole nother, you know, giant stack of wool insulation. I do have more of that pink stuff that I originally used on the floor. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna basically just use this up, get it as far packed in there as I can, and then once I do that, if I still need to do more, you know, over here or wherever, I'll use the pink stuff. But I think it's kind of bunching up in some of the spots where I don't have screws yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some more screws in, tighten up the other ones, and then just keep stuffing it, see how far I can get it. Alright, so that piece is done. I had enough to get basically all of it insulated except for the very last bit over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and end up just like ripping up some of that pink stuff that I left over, I guess, and I'll use that ripped up bit to stuff in here, and then stuff this once I get that piece all cut out. Alright, I don't know what the hell I was looking at, but I actually do have 2 more boards here. I thought I only had 1 left. But that's okay, I'll probably end up using that one to start working on the walls and such that still need to be covered, you know, all the little edges and whatnot. Yeah, I didn't realize I had another one. I thought this was my last one. Alright, so time to get that last little tiny bit there cut. I might even have leftover bits that are big enough to work this. I don't know, because it has to be this long too. I'm gonna go check my scraps real quick, and then I might still need to cut that. I'm not sure. All right, so this piece was out there in like the kind of leftover scrap area from what I cut today, and it has that little notch right there, but that's gonna be covered up by the cabinet stuff anyway, and I can just fill that in with something. And when it lines up here, it lines up really nicely. It is a little bit wet and gross there at the edge. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this up so it can fit in there, and then that'll be the last piece, and I'll just work on getting some pink insulation stuffed all up in there, and that's gonna be it for today. I would like to take care of like the painting and all that tomorrow, but that sealant still hasn't come in, so I can't do any of the sealant. So I'm gonna be waiting on that before I paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and once I get this piece insulated, all that, I know there's a couple spots I have to cover up with that wood putty. I don't know where it was. Somewhere I had to go crazy with the screws. I kept missing it over and over and over. I can't find it now. It was definitely today though. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So I gotta cover up all those and possibly other spots I forgot. Okay, so this is the insulation stuff. It's actually really easy to do this. Kind of wish I would have known how easy that was, and I would have just done this for everything instead of dealing with the wood insulation for all this ceiling stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and hook up that last piece, and that'll be that for the ceiling. Okay, so that piece is totally in there. I also did the little wood putty stuff for those spots that needed it. Only things, this one kind of hangs down lower than this one. I can't screw anything over here, so I'm going to have to figure out what I can do about that. This, I believe, will be covered by Ken anyway, so I'm not super concerned about it. But it would be nice if I could just level that out somehow. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. I don't have that sealant stuff, like I said, so tomorrow, as long as I'm not crazy sore again, I guess I might as well just work on using some of these pieces of wood here to start, doing all the weird edges and all that fun stuff.